Hey, remember back in '93 when Ryan thought Shockmaster was going to be a future world champion?
The modern day wrestling god! What?
And that's why, Jack, you're so smart.
Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
First ever AEW Collision review. Did it live up to your expectations, and what would you give it as far as an overall grade to the show?
One thing I saw a lot of people saying online was they were talking about how there was more like straightforward, more to the wrestling, like that kind of stuff on the show. And if you go back and watch it, it really doesn't feel like that to me. I mean, they have just as many promos and segments and shit like that. And the Ricky Stark stuff, the Christian segment before even the pre-tape stuff before he even came out. Like, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't just like going straight to wrestling. The whole Tony Nese shit before his match, like, I don't know where that impression came from, but I don't agree with it. I will say, as far as the matches that actually happened, I thought they were all pretty good. I thought the Buddy Murphy and Andrade match was probably the best one of the night. That one was very, very good, but you know, those two guys, you probably wouldn't expect that much different. I thought the tag match was relatively good, and I thought that the right people won. It's a good idea to have Willow go over, given that she's the more recent champion and all that, and then you can sort of set up some future title stuff for AEW and New Japan that way. If they wanted to have them go against each other for the door or something like that, it makes sense. Not a title on the line, obviously, but
Just making Sky Blue and Willow credible in any way at this point is a good sign.
yeah. And Sky Blue is one of those people that's, if you watch where she started to where she is now, she's clearly gotten a lot better too, which you always like to see. So it's nice to see her getting a win, and I think her mom was there in the crowd too, so that's good. And then the main event, I'm gonna come off like a fucking Punk hater, but man,
Shocking.
I'm gonna be as charitable as possible, okay? And I'm gonna say he's been away.
I'm not gonna lie, he was rusty. I completely agree with you on that. He even messed up going through the ropes on a tag, dude. Like, he was rusty as fuck.
It looked bad, especially showing a montage of him like training in the ring and stuff on the way to him coming out for his match or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. I thought it looked nasty. It was not a good showing. The one spot that I felt like he did that looked okay, but still looked kind of fucked up, was when he did the Bulldog Lariat spot on simultaneously on Juice and Jay White. But even that, it just felt like sluggish. It felt like kind of off. The neck breakers, it wasn't dropping at the right time. Like, so they were like stunted. Like, he would drop too early, and then the other one would come after him or whatever. It was weird. And yeah, the thing with the rope thing was fucking weird. The tag situation near the end, where Punk
the double tag where
Punk
Cash tagged
in,
in, and then Cash was technically
tagged.
technically the legal man. Cash was the legal man, and then Punk got the pin, so it didn't make any sense.
Well, no. Punk was the legal man, but it's because Cash fucked up. So the way that they did that was Punk tags Dax while he's on the outside. That makes Punk the legal man. But then Cash reaches in and also tags Dax, which doesn't make him the legal man because Dax isn't legal anymore. It does nothing. But then there was confusion because it looked like they were setting up to have Cash sort of do a lot of the finishing stuff, and then it didn't end up working out that way. And then they were like, "Oh, you get out of the ring, and then I'll pin." All that shit. It was weird. It was pretty awful.
Well, the way that they've done that before in the past, and why it usually does make sense, and why they do that, like I've seen the Young Bucks do it a lot.
It's for the extra time on the.
Yeah, exactly. And that's an extra 10 seconds. So you got the 10 seconds on the first guy, and then another 10 seconds on the other guy.
But you have to tag the right person.
So you've got 10 seconds to do now double team moves legally, basically.
Right, but you still have to tag the person.
Or even triple team moves, technically, because if Dax wasn't hurt on the corner or whatever, he has 5 seconds to get the fuck out the ring. So you got 15 seconds to do a triple team move if you wanted to.
Well, they kind of did, right? They set up the Shatter Machine into
the
But no, it was real, and that wasn't Punk's fault. That was Cash's fault, as far as I can tell, because he should have known to wait for Punk to get in the ring and then tag Punk. And not just
I think Punk did really well with the selling for sure, especially the Samoa Joe shit. He did awesome on that part. The
I don't know.
the,
I don't know
the
if he had a
crowd-
choice, but it's still some of them chops, boy.
Yeah, I know.
That
The
shit
crowd
looked like
came.
it
I
hurt.
mean, if you're complaining about Adam Page hitting you in the throat, that first fucking one that Samoa Joe threw was right in your fucking face, dude.
He screamed something right at him, and I listened to that thing like 4 or 5 times trying to hear what the fuck he said, because it sounded like he was talking shit specifically about him, complaining about people being sick, but I couldn't make out every word. But it was funny as fuck because he nailed him and then sets him up and does it again. Damn, that looked painful. I did go back and watch the clip that he was complaining about.
No, he got hit in the throat. He got hit in the throat, but they traded blows again right after it. So like, why didn't that settle him down when Page hit him again and he wasn't in the throat again? Then why the fuck would that mess up the rest of the match for you though?
Yeah, it's so funny that he's got like this. It reminds me of when Republicans talk about fucking Antifa. It's like they're simultaneously like the most dangerous people on earth and such a threat to everything, but also at the same time they're just giant liberal pussies who can't do anything. Not man. And it's the same shit that Punk is doing when he comes out in an article saying, "Oh, he worked too stiff with me, and like I was scared that he was gonna like beat me up for real in the match and all that shit," but then come out on television and be like, "Oh, and all your favorite wrestlers are soft." Like, dude, it can't be both. He's either real fucking soft or you're worried he's gonna beat your ass for real. Like, you can't say both and try to.
Well, I think he only said that line because, like I told you, I think that was the work line to make you now I believe 100% fully that this is going to turn into a match at some point, and this is now a work. But no, I completely agree with you that I'm not saying Punk couldn't hold his own and get a lucky submission in or something. The fight if a fight broke out backstage. But if I'm putting money on it, I'm probably putting my money on Adam Page.
Yeah, and Kenny would beat the shit out of him too, because Kenny is not somebody that only got a bronze medal in a blue belt fucking jiu-jitsu tournament because there were only 3 people in it and he lost to 2 people, and that didn't win a single fucking round. Because that's where, if you ever see pictures online of CM Punk with his bronze medal in that Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament, it's because in his age bracket and weight there were only 3 people, and so they had like a little 3-person round robin tournament. He lost both matches against both people, but still got a bronze medal for losing. Like, that's his big Brazilian jiu-jitsu accomplishment, was his bronze medal in that tournament. So anybody trying to talk up his ground game or like his ability to fight or anything like that, you're fucking clueless. Like, you don't know anything about his history. Brian Alvarez would smoke the shit out of CM Punk 100% of the time. Like, it's not even close. So it is weird to see who he tries to talk shit about, and how he tries to talk shit about them. Especially in the whole, like, you're soft, you couldn't do fucking real matches, I would beat you up, that kind of implication. It doesn't work.
But I'm just saying, because he said that on TV and it was cleared or whatever, he didn't say that. If he would have said that in the ESPN interview, then I'd be making a much bigger deal about you're full of shit. If you're saying it in character on a show, which leads me to believe that they're definitely going to be working together at some point. Maybe not right out of the gate. It could be this could be the long game, because the Elite could be saying backstage, yeah, we would be okay with it, but he has to prove himself, like we were talking about for months, basically. You're not just gonna get this fucking spot out the gate. You're gonna have to prove that you can fucking not be a bitch, basically, and go back on everything that you've been saying. Now, I do appreciate in the ESPN article that he actually did apologize, and that he said he wanted to talk to them, but every time he tried to, he's been blocked, basically, because that was one of our main things that everybody was saying online, and us included. Dude, you got to take the first step. And it feels like or at least he's saying that he is taking the first step. And like it was reported, everything was run by TK for that interview, and he okayed it for it to come out. So there has to be some kind of truth to what he was saying. But just specifically on AEW Collision, though, since that's what we're talking about, like, I agree with you. The women's tag match was a lot better than I had anticipated it going to be when going into it or whatever. And that's not necessarily just because of who's involved, because really, like I said on Twitter, Sky Blue is everything that we thought Anna Jay was going to be, right? That's what we thought Anna Jay was going to be. That's where she should be right now, but she never improved. Sky Blue, you can actually see her improvement from day one to now, and I would say that she's better than Anna Jay in the ring. We all know how good Willow is. We all know how good Tony is, and we all know how good Ruby Soho is. I think my bar was low just because Willow hasn't really gotten the time to shine in AEW as far as wins go and long matches. And then, of course, Sky Blue is basically taking straight L's until she got the Battle Royal win.
I'm I'm compelled to defend Anna Jay on this point because yes, Sky Blue has seemed to improve more in the time that she's been there, but she's also, because she's constantly taking those L's that you just mentioned on Dark and on Elevation and doing a lot of the undercard stuff, she's had more time in the ring lately than Anna Jay has too. So when Anna Jay only wrestles once every fucking 10, 12, 15 shows, then it kind of makes sense that she wouldn't show as much improvement in the same time frame. It's just not as many reps. And I don't know whose fault that is. I mean, that could be a booking thing. It could just be her not being available, whatever. But or just not having anything creative for her ever since she's been in the sort of saddle with the JAS shit. But I acknowledge that Sky Blue has done very well, but I don't think it's entirely fair to shit on Anna Jay in the process, who really hasn't been wrestling as many matches, which is part of that problem.
Well, I do. In her defense as well, the last big match she had, she got fucking powerbombed with her head hitting the back of the floor by Willow Nightingale through off the stage.
Fuck up her ribs from that or some shit too. So yeah.
But I love the moment with Samoa Joe and Punk in the main event. That was fucking awesome for me as someone who was a huge Ring of Honor mark back in the day when it very first started. I thought that was a awesome thing. It was
real fucking cool that the first time they face off, they go to picture in picture.
Oh, I hated that part.
What the fuck are you thinking?
I don't know. And they were like, and not only that, they had the other picture in picture moment with Samoa Joe and Dax beating the shit out of each other. That pissed me off too. They were chopping the fuck out. I wanted to hear that shit. Now I gotta go back and find a fucking version like on Fight TV or whatever to try to hear that shit, because they were lighting each other up. And then Samoa Joe was like doing the kicks to him, and then Dax gets up and he's like no selling the kicks, and then he chops the fuck out of him again and does some more kicks, and then gets his ass kicked. I was like, dude, why am I not watching this live? I'm watching it live, but why am I watching this during the PIP like that? Why? A terrible moment to go to picture in picture.
I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if that's because obviously they have their cues in the match for whatever segments and building to that in whatever pacing or whatever. So I don't know who's calling the pacing and timing and all that shit. But yeah, setting that up for right when I was about to go to break was fucking awful.
All right, let's talk about the TNT title change in hand. What do you like Luchasaurus being the new champion? Do you like it because it might lead into the whole Jungle Boy versus him? Because I was under the impression after Dynamite that Jungle Boy was going to turn heel on Hook after he loses to Sonata at Forbidden Door, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. I think I have a Forbidden Door thing, yeah. So that match was made official or whatever. And then just the way that backstage segment came off, where it's like, "Oh, and you're my best friend," and everybody's like, "Oh," in the audience, I'm sitting there like, when the fuck did Hook become your best friend out of nowhere like that? And then he had that weird smile at the end. I was like, dude, this seems like such a setup. Like, he's going to lose the Sonata and then be fucking super pissed that he still hasn't won a singles title, and now Luchasaurus has, and he's gonna fucking turn on Hook and then go after the FTW title. But now that Luchasaurus has actually won it, I almost feel like he's got to go after Luchasaurus to get the TNT title from him, right?
Can't say Christian taught him nothing if he does end up doing that turn. I think they did some Twitter storyline shit too, where right after Luchasaurus won, Jungle Boy just put congrats with a bunch of dots afterward. So yeah, it's clearly bothering them or whatever. So yeah, they could build into a turn. I do think the Luchasaurus thing makes more sense. You could also turn him heel by having him come back around and basically say, look, Christian, we had our problems, but maybe you were fucking right, because now you got Luchasaurus with the title that you're carrying around for some fucking reason.
I mean, if the only big match he's going to win after leaving Christian is against Christian,
yeah,
then, I mean, Christian was right. What do you think about... Okay, so we talked a little bit about Andrade Bloody Matthews, because that easily was the best match of the show. But what did you think of the finish with him using Rhea Ripley's move and then Andrade using Charlotte Flair's move to beat him? That was awesome, right? I thought it was cool.
That was a neat little...
Especially because the two people that they took their moves from not only are their girlfriends/wife, it's because they were also feuding. They had two of the biggest WrestleMania feuds in their careers was against each other. So I thought that was also awesome.
Yeah, when he was doing the figure four at first, I thought it was like a Ric Flair thing. When he went up into that fucking figure eight, I was like, oh, okay, so we're done. So yeah, I mean, it was cool. I didn't mind it. Normally you see that a lot the other way around, where, Nikki Bella will do a fucking F5 or AJ Lee will do a go to sleep or whatever. So not an F5. So
Attitude
attitude
adjustment.
adjustment. I want to see Nikki Bella do a fucking F5.
And then Brie does the yes kicks. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's normally very like moves in one direction. So it was neat to see it move the other direction. Both of them do it, and then everybody acknowledge it because their girlfriends or wives or whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah, Andrade wife, Buddy,
Andrade's married,
girlfriend.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's because I mean it makes them look even more awesome, even though they're in WWE. It makes them look even more credible as well because they're so dominant in WWE compared to a lot of other people. To use their move just makes them more so, honestly.
Yeah.
So I mean, their AEW has fucking Impact in WWE at the same time. Like it's crazy. Like I hate everything that AEW does. It makes me dislike WWE a little bit more because they act like no one else exists. And every time AEW acts like WWE exists and is honestly helping them out without them even realizing it. Well, I mean, I'm sure AEW realizes it, but without WWE realizing that they're actually technically getting helped out, it just annoys me even more when they purposefully omit New Japan or AEW or Impact. It's very annoying.
That'd be a really easy thing for Charlotte and Rhea to play off of a feud too. Just be like,
oh yeah, if she did some shit like my man beat your man type deal,
like we saw last Saturday.
Yeah, I'll
Figure
beat
eight
you.
beat
I'll beat you
every
like
time.
I'll beat you like your boy got beat on June 17th. You know, like whenever, because technically they're not in a feud right now. Rhea's on a different brand, but yeah. Okay, what else we haven't talked about? Miro's back. Obviously, it was a squash, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
got a good reaction.
Yeah.
By the way, about the Buddy Matthews Andrade thing, do you think we eventually get House of Black versus LFI now?
It seemed kind of like that's where they were going at the end because Andrade wasn't doing heel shit. He was trying to. Shake
I know
his
a lot of
hand
people like
stuff.
Roosh, right? Yeah, like he's been getting some good groundswell support, especially online as well. So
because people want to see him beat the shit out of CM Punk.
people just want to see Roosh beat the shit out of anybody, honestly. But Roosh, so you got Roosh and now Andrade, but where does Preston Vance fit into that? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to use Jalistico, not Preston Vance, right? I can't see people just cheering for Preston Vance out of nowhere after fucking turning on -1 in the Dark Order.
He's kind of well. Here's the thing too, they don't necessarily have to be face because I don't think.
Yeah,
Roosh
they
is
just got to
gonna
be facing this feud.
face.
Yeah, they just got to be
Right.
facing this feud. Yeah, I got you.
You just make people want them to win, but it doesn't make them good guys. So no, I don't think that's necessarily an issue.
I mean, I don't think anybody in LFI, based off of what LFI stands for and LIJ would stand for, you can be good guys anyway, right? That's
right.
Exactly. So like, he's still gonna come out there and get the rope and beat the shit out of people with rope and all this other shit. So like, they're still gonna cheat and all this stuff. So it'll be more to the Eddie Guerrero side of it, and people like it because it's funny and hey, that just makes too much sense not to do. Instead of the House of Black side where hey, you didn't really have to do that, but you did it anyway. And now we're kind of pissed off at you.
Yeah, and I think if they are telling us, if that's what they're building to, I think that should be the time when the house rules or whatever finally fucks them over. Like that's how they end up winning.
Lucha Libre rules.
Yeah, something like that, like Mexican tag rules or something like that. We don't. If one of us goes to the outside, the other could just come in. That kind of shit, which obviously House of Black isn't as used to, and whatever. And it gives them a good out for losing. So it's nice that it's kind of built in for whenever they do decide to have the title. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. I like my only thing was the ending of it. It doesn't really make sense, except that Brody and Malachi might be upset that Buddy just got beaten. But beyond that, like there's not really. Like
it was weird. I think it was only weird because Andrade's going to give him a handshake. It wasn't like Andrade was beating him down after the match.
Yeah.
Now, if Buddy would have lost and then got beaten down, and then House of Black shows up, that technically makes them the face, though. So if you want if you want them to be face, what you do is Andrade wins and Buddy Matthew gets pissed off, and then he beats him down, and LFI comes out instead, which would have made more sense to me, but it's whatever. Or LFI comes out, just Jalistico, maybe Jose the Assistant, obviously, and Rouge come out. And then right as soon as they hit the ring, that's when the lights go out. And then you bring up Malachi and Brody, and they just have a stare down, and everybody's like, holy shit. And then the lights go back out, and they disappear, and then you can do that. That would have been cool to me.
Yeah. It does seem out of character for Andrade and the whole thing that they're doing with LFI to have him even try to do the handshake with
But
him.
Andrade was getting a huge face reaction in that match with Buddy, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. I thought it was by far the best match of the night.
All right, grade the show overall, and then we can move on.
ABC?
ABC, pluses, minuses, whatever.
It's like an A-. I thought it was really good all the way around. All the matches are solid.
Yeah, we're not far off. I gave it an A.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.